Good morning, everyone. What's going on? In this video, I'm gonna be talking about the top lessons that I've learned this year throughout my first year of entrepreneurship. My life has changed a lot this year, so I do think that I have some valuable insights. Just maybe. There's a small chance that you might be able to benefit from some of these things because I feel like I've really dug deep into you know what? Never mind. We're gonna get into it in the video. So I guess just off the grip, let's get right into it. The first lesson is the way people treat you is a reflection, like a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves. This took me a little while to learn because when I first got into day trading and then started my business and then all this stuff, my own boys would kind of just take shots at me about it. They would kind of be like, "Oh, like you really got to go home and do that, bro. Like you don't got anything to do. Like why are you going home and spending time journaling your trades instead of going out and like watching the Flyers game, like some stuff like that." And like they would just just subtle things like on a regular basis that I would just be like, okay, like why are you pooping on me, dude? Like I'm trying to do something that I'm passionate about. I'm trying to do something that's gonna teach a skill, make me money. And the more I started to watch podcasts about people that were above me, like Alex Hormozy, Andy Frisell, all these people who I really look up to a lot, I would just hear just honestly most successful people in general. If you listen to what they say, it's like you kind of get pooped on a little bit in the beginning. Like the people around you don't necessarily want you to win. So that's kind of it's shocking, I guess, and it's not the most fun of a realization, but it's the truth. And that's because they maybe don't feel that good about themselves. There's maybe things where, they feel threatened that you're trying to do something that's bigger than just your small town or bigger than just, I don't know, just being normal. Like if you're, the reality is if you're trying to become great at anything, it's not what most people are doing, and that will make most people mad. They'll be like, oh, like what, you think you're better than us or something? And it's not that. And if you're the type of person that is trying to become great, it's not that. But it's just an immediate fight or flight reaction where it's like, okay, this person's not doing the same things that I'm doing anymore. They're trying to be different, they're trying to be better. And a lot of people around you will kind of react to that in not the most positive way. And I still have people, I mean, obviously, I'm no real level of material success yet. And I'll still, take a lot of shots pretty often, even from people that I still am kind of boys with because they haven't, made crazy shots at me, but just still random, little, oh, how's your little business going? Like, oh, yeah, it's going pretty solid right now, dude. So you can fuck off, to be honest. But yeah, you're gonna get stuff like that, and you have to just remember that it's the way they feel about themselves. Like for example, I've always been really disciplined with the way that I eat, and lift because I did start off as a pretty fat kid. So during the summer, I spent a lot of time with my boys, obviously, and we would go down the shore and stuff like that, and I would be still sticking with my meal plan. And it would be like, oh, just take one meal off. Just cheat, bro. Just have a freaking Oreo. Have a slice of pizza. And I would just be like, nah, it's good. And they would start to get mad about it. They would be like, nah, eat the slice of pizza. And it's because they want to feel okay that they're eating the slice of pizza. And when you're right next to them eating chicken and rice, it feels less okay that they're eating a slice of pizza. So that's one thing that I really I'm very conscious of it now. And when someone takes shots at me, I'm like, okay, that's cool. You're not doing anything worth doing. Well, that's a little bit of a dramatic statement. You're not doing anything that really gets you riled up to the point where you understand how I feel. And that's why you're taking a dump on me. So, that's kind of something I've come to accept, and that's okay. Lesson number 2. You have to improve the speed between losing and learning, right? So this is, you're obviously going to go through a lot of losing if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, or with day trading, especially. Day trading has especially taught me this, that so let's just get into some examples before I really go on about that. When I first started day trading, well, not first started, but like let's say a couple months in, when I started like journaling my trades and stuff like that. And there was a very rough point between like January and April. I'd say April, where I was just losing a ton. I probably lost half my account in that time span. And I would lose a trade, and I would just beat myself up about it. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, what? I would go in my garage and like beat the shit out of my punching bag, and just be mad. I would just be an emotional wreck about it, and I wouldn't even be able to start executing on other things because I was just like so in my head about losing this trade. Like I wouldn't start working on my business stuff. I wouldn't do anything. I would just kind of just be like a mess. Like I wouldn't even be able, I would go work out and I'd be like driving with like just pure rage, bro. And what I learned is like that gets you nothing. Like it sucks. It feels terrible to take a dumb loss, and just like it's just the most frustrating thing in the world. But what I've learned is the faster you can go from like, okay, I took this loss, maybe take a walk, take a quick walk, or maybe meditate and just breathe it out. Just be like, okay, like this happened, it's fine. There you go. Then you watch the goddamn recording of your trade. You start journaling your trade. You're like, okay, well, this is where I went wrong. The faster you can go from that terrible, terrible feeling to starting to learn from the trade, like what you did wrong, it's just like, it's super important. Because if you take too long trying to beat yourself up about it, you might not remember how you were feeling. You might not, like, there's a lot, specifically in day trading, I think you should be pretty fast with, trading and then journaling your trades. So you kind of know like exactly what happened, and just take away valuable lessons from it. Instead of spending 30 minutes, dude, I used to spend more than 30 minutes, I'm not gonna lie, just taking forever, just freaking out, just being in such a bad mood about it. Just you'll feel better if you just go back to it, watch the recording, you see like, oh, I shouldn't have bought there, or oh, I should have stopped out earlier, whatever the case is, and just be like, take it into account. And then you learn, and then you don't do it tomorrow. It's that simple. So I think the one thing I've really improved on is how long it takes me from losing and then learning from that loss. And that applies to business too. There's a point in time, not that long ago, like literally a month ago, we were having a ton of technical difficulties, like very specific problems where it's like, so we started doing mic'd ups. Wait, I should have prefaced like what I do in this video. Maybe I'll add a different intro. No, I'm kidding. I'm not changing the intro. But all right, for those of you who don't know, I hope this video does well. So maybe we will get some people that don't know me. I run a hockey, photography, videography, media business. Whatever. So yeah, we started offering mic'd ups. There were times where the mic wouldn't work. I had to completely like align the audio with a video, like literally lip syncing, bro. I mean lip reading. Having a lot, it took so long. It literally took me like 8 hours in one day to finish a 3-minute video. That was painful. There was another time where I took forever getting the photos back to someone because I just couldn't figure out where it was on my computer. Just like all these dumb things. Like I couldn't edit in Lightroom the way I should have been able to. Like it took me so much longer. So what did I do? I started figuring out the individual problems between each of them. None of that stuff has ever happened again. Like very fast. Like you have to experience that pain and be like, I'm not dealing with this shit again. Because I guarantee you, if anyone's used Lightroom, spending 3 hours editing photos, not fun. It shouldn't take that long. So, I figured out how to auto edit all the photos. Just select all, paste an edit preset, or literally just use the auto button, whatever. It's like, you can be ignorant of something, but I feel like one thing I'm pretty good at is like, if I make a mistake, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. It's very rare I'll make that mistake again. I'm a fast learner, I would say. I think I make a lot of mistakes. I 100% make a lot of mistakes, maybe even more mistakes than most people. But the way I can bounce back from those mistakes has significantly benefited me in both business and day trading and just life, like overall life. So that's lesson number 2. Sorry guys, we had to get caffeinated. But we're back. So lesson number 3 is the more you track, the more you win. If you can keep statistical data that you can change how you execute off of, That's very important. This applies to like tracking your macros with fitness, like calories, proteins, fats, carbs, etc. So that way you can see, like, everyone has different goals, but if you want to gain weight, then okay, you know where to start to gain weight. It's very important. If you're sending outbound messages, I would track my open rate, my response rate, and how many engaged leads I would generate so that way you know what kind of output your inputs are creating. So then you can either do more of that if it's working, or stop doing that if it's not working. Or maybe you change the hook, or maybe you change your follow-up message. It's very important. Like, everyone who's at a higher level of business than you is probably just tracking more variables / data as you are. That's a general statement, but I would say all the top people are tracking significantly more data than you are. So if you can kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work through statistical data, you're in a very good spot. I do this in a lot of ways. Like, I've been doing to-do lists since September of last year, and they've evolved over time. What I also have on my to-do list is my transactions. Like, I log every single dollar that goes in and out of any of my accounts is logged in my to-do list book. So I have, like, start of the week balance for my cash, my checking, my saving, my credit card, my portfolio, and then the end of the week, and then under that is all the transactions. So that way you can see what you're spending money on, what's maybe necessary, what's not necessary, what you can cut back on, etc. And that has actually helped me, like, overall throughout the fluctuations of my money over the past year. I have significantly more savings and just, like, spendable income than last year. So that's huge. Like I said, the outbound, if you're doing any kind of, like, paid ad, etc., you're not going to know if it's working unless you track these kind of things, like LTV to CAC ratio. Like, how much is each of your customer, like, how much money are you making from each of your customer over time? Are they a repeat customer? How much did it cost to get them? Sometimes that cost is just labor, but that's why you track your open rate, engagement rate, etc. from the outbound you do. How long does it take you to do that? One thing I've recently started doing is logging my time. Over the past couple months, I know exactly what I've spent every single day doing. I wake up, I have a little book called my time log. If you actually go back to one of my first videos, actually, like something like how are you spending your time, I think that's what it's called. But I track from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep, what am I spending my time doing? So that way I can cut out the bullshit, spend more time working. And then what I recently started doing is, it's like, the whole point of the more you track, the more you win, is that you can constantly increase the specificity of what you're doing so you can get better at it. So, like, originally I would just write down how much time, I would not even how much time I was working, I would just write down, like, what I'm doing throughout the day. What I have now is an Excel sheet of how much time I spend doing what. So it's like, how much time do I spend doing trading stuff, like reviewing my journals, actually trading, back testing, etc. How much time do I spend doing customer acquisition? How much time do I spend on the business model? How much time do I spend doing actual customer work? The more you track, the more you win. You can find out what's working. If you're not getting the results that you want, you probably have to tweak what you're doing. And I talk in another video about, like, there's only really 3 things you should be doing as a business owner, which is what I have on my list, which is, customer acquisition, customer nurturing / like customer work, like, for my example, going to the shoots, editing photos, editing videos for the customers, just talking with, like, tweaking things about I just had a brain fart, or work on the business model. Like, let's say you're going to change your offers around, or let's say you're going to change something about the way you generate lead, or, anything, like, inside the business. So, like, if you're not, those are the 3 things you should be spending time on, business-wise, in my personal, humble opinion. That's just what works for me. So, yeah, that's lesson number 3. The more you track, the more you win. Lesson number 4. You guys are not ready for this one, because I know I wasn't. People do not think what you're doing is cool. And I mean, like, what you're doing, like, if you're doing what I'm doing. Like, I went into, like, business and trading thinking that, like, people would think it's cool. People do not think it's cool. First of all, it takes so much more time to actually see progress than you think. So it's like, I went into it thinking, like, maybe people won't think I'm cool at first, but, like, once I'm driving around in my Corvette and going on these fancy vacations, then people think I'm cool. Well, guess what? We're a solid year in, a little bit over a year in. I'm not there yet. It takes so much longer than you think. Running a business and day trading will both humble you. Like, I went into getting into business and day trading with a semi-big ego. And even throughout the start of it, I had a big ego because I'm like, oh, this is so cool, dude. Like, my life's so easy and carefree. When I wasn't making any money. I was just, it felt so good because I was taking steps towards where I knew I wanted to go. That gets old after a while. And it just becomes grind. That sounds corny, but, like, it's true. I still obviously enjoy what I do, but I would just get so much dopamine from thinking I'm, like, a tough guy, like, taking pictures of, like, my Thinkorswim charts, posting on my Snapchat story. Join up for the journey. I have a whole story for it, which I still post on sometimes, but not nearly as much because I realize that most people don't care, and a lot of people that will join that story are the people that are just making fun of you. So that was really, like, an ego hit for me. That was an ego hit because I just slowly realized I'm like, people do not care what you're doing, first of all, and they most definitely don't think it's cool until you do have the flex, until you do have the money and the, you know, status, I guess, which I don't have yet, and that's perfectly fine because I know I have to eat a little bit more shit to get there, but people don't think it's cool, dude. So, like, I don't know, like, it was a humbling experience because I went into it thinking, like, people would, like, respect the hard work, like, girls would find it, like, sexy or something. No, they just think you're weird. I guarantee you, bro, they just think you're weird, and that's okay for now because one day they're gonna see. So I thought that, I mean, there's not really too much to talk about that lesson, but I think it's funny because I went into thinking that it was gonna be like the cool, like, oh yeah, I'm a day trader, I own a business. People don't think you're cool, bro, because you haven't proved anything. Like, so kill the ego as fast as possible. I promise you, it'll help you out. Lesson number 5 is can be consistently good, not occasionally great. I didn't come up with this. This is the title of a podcast with Nick Bear and Chris Williamson that I watched, and I really was affected by it. I felt kind of validated, I guess. Not really validated, but I would say that my whole business career, my whole solid 1-year business career, not very long at all. I'm not claiming to have any immense amount of knowledge, etc. But, you know, this video is just talking about what I've learned this year. If you can be better on your bad days than most people are on their good days, that's a win. You know, I mean, there's, like, the saying that you're only as good as your bad days, right? So my whole thing is, like, I've probably, like, this year, I've probably worked, let's dial down the estimate. Let's be liberal with the estimate, or conservative. I don't know what that would be. Not even in the political terms. You know what I mean. Let's say I worked 360 days this year. I would say that's a pretty accurate estimate. Some type of work on my business or day trading, etc. 360 days of this year. I would say that is 100% true. Some of those days, I worked an hour, worked 2 hours. Some of those days, I worked 12 hours. A lot of those days were somewhere in between, like 8 to 10. But every single day, I was just moving it forward a little bit. And you don't have to be perfect every day. There's going to be days where you're sick. There's going to be days where you feel like ass mentally. There's going to be days where you're just like, what's even the point of this? But you still do it anyway. And that's, like, if you look at all the most successful people, they have the same story. It's like, this sucked. It sucked so much to get here, but it was worth it. And I promise you, like, every single day, I was just moving the needle forward a little bit farther, just working. And it's like, at some point, it just becomes like a habit. It just becomes like a necessity, like brushing your teeth. Like, you're like, okay, like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to work today on my business and on day trading and on, you know, myself. And that's been big for me, you know, because that compounds over time, just constantly working every single day. So I don't even know like what number lesson this is. Maybe 6. I want to say 6. This is actually another podcast title, but it's another thing that's very valid and applicable and relatable to my life, and that is winning is more fun than fun is fun. This is, I think, technically like a quote from Ed Milet. There's a podcast of Ed Milet and Andy Frisella. So good, bro. I've watched that podcast so many times. But Ed's basically talking about how his son, who like golfs, called him up one night. He was like, yeah, like they were at a tournament. He was like, yeah, all my buddies are out drinking at the bar, like partying, whatever. And I'm just in the room eating some food and getting some rest. And Ed Milet, of course, was like, you know what? Winning is more fun than fun is fun. And I was like, damn, like that's facts, dude. Because I always felt guilty about this. I always felt like, listen, I love what I do. Like I love day trading. I love business. Not even just them themselves, like the little micro actions that make up building a business or make up learning how to day trade. But like I would rather do that than a lot of other things. Like I really do enjoy working. And people say like that sounds crazy, but like I've been rewarded for it, like mentally, kind of financially a little bit. Like I said, I'm very new to this, but very new to this in the grand scheme of things. I might be ahead of some people watching this video, but overall, I gotta sip the coffee. Give me a second. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, I used to feel guilty for like, because this is part of the reason that relates to the first lesson. But like, you know, I would have buddies that would like, you know, just like bust my balls about it. Just be like, it made me feel guilty for like staying home and like building a landing page instead of going out and getting shit-faced. And I don't feel bad about that now because it's like, I know what makes me feel good mentally, and that's primarily working. So I've kind of learned to just cut out, like if I have the option, because in reality, you always have the option. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go to that birthday party. Sorry, I'm a little sick right now. You don't have to get, like, whatever. You can do what, you don't have to have your friends over. Like, it's cool. It's okay. And I've just noticed that I feel much better mentally when I'm working. And that, you know, winning is more fun and fun is fun. Like, the general consensus for most people around fun is a lot different than me. Like, I still have, don't get me wrong. I have fun doing those things from time to time. But it often doesn't make me feel good about myself. So, yeah, if you're the type of person who enjoys working, it's not a bad thing. Like, you should do what you love. And especially if what you love, like, makes you money and pushes you farther to where you're trying to go, do more of that, bro. Like, cut out like, you don't have to feel bad that you're not going out every weekend. Like, you really don't. I promise you. So that was something I kind of struggled with for a long time. Like, why do I not want to go out and have fun? It's because you like working, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, winning is more fun than fun is fun. And the last lesson kind of ties in, well, not the last lesson, second to last lesson, last, like, real main lesson. But it's, it kind of ties into the other stuff about the podcast and stuff, but you're a direct reflection of the information that you put in your brain. Mindset is such an important thing when you're getting started because, like, I got into business and day trading from pain. Like, there was a large, like, pain point in my life that I was like, I don't want to be this way anymore. I'm not going to be specific about what it was, but I was like, I don't want to be like this anymore. Started getting into day trading. And it progressed. Then I did, like, drop shipping. Then I started a business. And it's just, like, you know, I'm not going to go deep into, like, how, you know, you just get better and better at what you're doing and more specific with your dream, you know, over time. But it's like, if I didn't have that initial mindset switch where I was like, this has to change. This has to change. You know, it's hard. Like, it's very easy to just stay in the ways like a normal person. So, I'm not saying I'm not a normal person. I'm a normal person, but I do different things like a normal person. Because I have different goals than a normal person. So, that was kind of a long way, but I'm glad we slightly wrapped it back around. it's like what you're putting in your brain is so important. I pretty much only consume business content. Like, I don't really, most of the stuff that I listen to is stuff that improves me mentally because I'm learning from it. Like, I don't watch like dumb YouTube video, like I don't know, dropping an iPhone off a freaking 20-story building. Like, I don't watch entertaining YouTube videos. Like, I watch like podcasts. Like, most people just toss on a Mr. Beast video when they eat. I don't know what people watch. I watch podcasts. And I'm not saying that to sound like it's like cool or like better than you. Sorry, I gotta take another sip of the coffee. My throat's like killing me from talking this long. Actually, I'm just gonna pause in general. Hold up. Alright, we kind of regenerated from the sips of the coffee. But it's more so just like I'm constantly putting like information in my brain that aligns with the things I'm doing. And it teaches me more. And it gives me different ways of not ways of learning, but ways of seeing things. Like, my main people who I really listen to are Alex Hormozy, Andy Frisella, and a little bit at my lab, but mainly Andy Frisella and Alex Hormozy. They have been like two, like my North Stars kind of. Like, I really look up to both of them. I think what they do is awesome. And that's how I'm trying to be. So, I remember my senior year of high school when I first got into this stuff, which was literally last year. I'm talking like I'm like seasoned, but every day on the way to school, I would throw on a podcast. On the way home, throw on a podcast. In the background when I'm working, throw on a podcast. Nowadays, when I drive to different rinks that are kind of far away, because I have to go to a shoot, I throw on a podcast. I listen to one on the way there. And it's just like, that's the best feeling. It's like I'm driving, going somewhere where I'm getting paid, growing my business, get to give a great customer experience, and I'm listening to these people who have done that. And that's really the only information that you put in your brain. It's very hard to have doubts about the way you're going because you're listening to people that have done what you are doing successfully, and they just tell you, it's like, yeah, like, it's gonna suck for a while, but if you just stick with it, you learn from your mistakes, and you keep going, it's gonna be worth it. So it's like, how can you doubt yourself when you're putting that information in your brain? It's like, I have such a very I think a lot of people have a flawed view of like what reality is. I don't, because I listen to people who have won the game. Like, they're very successful, and they think different than most people think, and that's how I think. Like, I'm thinking the way that ultra successful people think before I'm ultra successful. It's like, how do I lose when I'm taking action and I'm consuming that kind of information that like stimulates my brain, teaches me lessons, and just tells me to just keep going? Like, it's very hard. Another sip, 1 second. And when I say the information you're putting in your brain, I don't just mean podcasts. Like, the people you surround yourself with, huge, dude. I've cut off so many people this year just because I get nothing positive from them. It's like, why am I listening to you spew your negative bullshit when I could be spending time doing something else? Like, if you just draw energy from me, I'm not gonna spend time with you anymore. So I've really surrounded myself with people who are on the same path as me, trying to do the same things, can give me valuable insights, and mentors too. Like, I've gotten close with a lot of people who are ahead of me just because, the people who win want to see you win too, as long as they see that you're applying yourself and trying to win. So it's like, it's kind of easy to connect with those people. I have like 2 very specific mentors right now, both for day trading and business, that I talk to like regularly. Like, we mess around with each other. We're like boys, kind of. So it's like, but they're not talking about negative stuff. They're not the kind of people that are drawing your energy. They're always adding to your energy. So spend time with the people who are trying to do the same things as you. Listen to the people who have done it way better than you. Like, I'm talking way, way better. And then also surround yourself with the people that are a little bit ahead of you. They can still kind of relate to where you're at. Like, they remember it was not that long ago, but they're winning at a significantly higher level than you are. So it's like, just that mix. It's very hard to not. You just got to cut out. A lot of people do significantly better, specifically around their mindset, if they listen to the right things, cut out the negative stuff, and then surround themselves with the right people that stopped doing bad, like making dumb decisions. My hair's driving me absolutely crazy. I should have gotten a haircut before this video. But, and then, guys, the last lesson, just be obsessed. Whatever you're trying to do, be obsessed. Think about it when you go to bed. Think about it when you wake up. I have dreams about things that are going on in my business. I have dreams about day trading. It's just like, it's my whole life, pretty much. Not my whole life. That sounds dramatic. I do a lot of other things, but most of my time goes into this. My goals are surrounded by this, and this is I have that, like, zero options mentality because I'm obsessed with this. Like, I love what I do every day, and there are days where I don't feel like getting out of bed. There are days where it's just like, what's even the point of this? But it's like, it's a very worthwhile thing to pursue, in my personal opinion. You know, that might be different for everyone. Maybe you want to go to med school, get a degree, become a doctor that saves lives. Maybe you want to be an Olympic athlete. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Whatever you're trying to do, become so, like, immersed in it that it's like, it's pretty much your life. Like I said, I watch podcasts about business. I do business. I talk to my friends about business. I go to sleep thinking about it. It's like, I'm obsessed. The business bug bit me, bro. And I don't think there's any going back once you're, like, really fully in it. And, you know, I know I'm a little bit over 1 year in, and I have a lot of shit eating to do, but I'm ready for it, bro. Like, I'm telling, right now, this is me looking at the camera saying I am ready for it. I'm ready for whatever's getting thrown my way. And I think this year was a very, I don't know, powerful little, like, I don't know how to explain it. This year has changed my life a lot. My viewpoints around the world has changed. My discipline has changed. My work ethic. Just how I spend my time. How I make friends. Just overall, like, I have a completely different life. So I'm excited to see what next year brings. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it brought some kind of insight or value to you. I think the people this would mainly help are maybe people who want to be entrepreneurs or people who are in the same spot as me. I mean, overall, if you're above me, you probably know all these things. So I appreciate if you guys watch this whole video. Thank you. Expect within the next couple days there will be a video talking about my goals for 2024, what I'm really trying to achieve. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope this brought some sort of value to you. And subscribe, low-key, subscribe, because I post every single day. So, and a lot of it's just like the shit eating that I'm talking about. Like, there will be days where I'm like, oh, so angry. I'm like, why is this not working? There will be days where I have, like, the best realization ever. So I'm gonna continue to post every day. So go ahead, check back at some of the videos. Some of the titles might be like, whoa, like this might be a good video. Click on it. I guarantee you it's probably a solid video. I kind of get really passionate when I'm talking to the camera. So go ahead and check those out. Subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.